I remember when he visited in 75, it must have been, that he did the intervention in the gallery, and you walked in and there just appeared to be 2 empty rooms. What I do remember more than anything is the fuss, the outrage from some people, or from a lot of people. We didn't have a lot of conceptual art in those days. I doubt if we had any conceptual artists. And Billy, of course, was accustomed to working in New York. And I imagine he was a bit shocked at the reaction in New Zealand. There was outrage from people who wondered why the gallery was, paying to have him provide us with 2 empty galleries. So that was really Auckland's introduction to Billy Apple. Billy was doing a good number of from the collection series. I think I became aware of them or saw them at Trish Clark's at Artist Gallery. I had a long conversation with Billy actually about the discussions that he'd had with the various people who commissioned those works. And that's when Alan and I thought, oh well, that sounds like a really interesting process. You've really got to have an engagement with an artist to do that. And so we embarked on that. And it took quite a long time, and a lot of thought, and a lot of discussion with Billy about, just over things like the colour, the colours. Billy came to our house and looked through our collection, and we all agreed that we had a tendency to collect a lot of black and dark works. So we decided that the bulk of this piece should be in black and white. And then I was wearing a bright blue dress, and I think Billy and I both agreed that my little intervention into the black and white would be a bright blue. And so we did the little intervention in Eve Klein blue, which was for me, and the rest was the joint collection. And then I got another one that said simply from the Jenny Gibbs collection, as a sort of a bit of a giggle really. I said to Billy one day, I really, shall we just wipe out the Alan part from the Jenny and Alan Gibbs collection? It was after I'd been separated and divorced. And then we decided no, that wasn't the right way to go, because that would destroy an existing artwork. So we simply I commissioned a separate one that this time was all in Eve Klein blue and white, and that's from the Jenny Gibbs collection. So I now regard them as a diptych and a bit of my history. I own one of his cast bronze apple pieces, 2 minutes 33 seconds. He did several of them, all identical. Mine's the one that happens to be gold-plated. He's done a red one, which I think belongs to the art gallery, a green one. I really loved the kind of whimsical concept that 2 minutes 33 seconds was how long it took him to eat the apple down to, in one case, just a bite out of it, in the other case, down to the core. It's a very typical Billy sort of lateral thinking artwork, and it just appealed to me as a funny, whimsical, conceptual notion that nobody else would think of. For me, knowing an artist and having a relationship with them and trying to sort of listen to how they think adds such a huge amount to any work of art. I love talking to artists, talking about what they had in mind when they made a particular painting. It just adds such multiple dimensions. That's why I think, people who go around galleries with the tape and listening in their ear get so much more. If they don't know the artist, at least they can hear other people's commentary and the explanation. I think just coming into art cold and knowing nothing about its background, nothing about the art, nothing about the artist, or where the artist comes from, where the art comes from, is just a very superficial way of looking at art. It adds hugely to know the artist, and of course, if you're commissioning, then it's even more important. to have that dialogue with the artist.